um, what is destiny, and what is the relationship of the karmas, ongoing karmas, past karmas? Let us talk something about this, and then we have a healthy discussion towards the end. 15-20 minutes, we'll have some question answers. So your entire bundle of karmas, what you're carrying with you, your entire bundle of karmas that you're carrying with you from all the births together, from all your previous births. They say that the karma accumulation starts somewhere in the middle level of evolution, when in the stage of animals. When you are in animal yoni, in the middle level somewhere. Not when you are there. There are no karmas when you are unicellular animals, and the basic multicellular animals. You don't have any karmas there. But at the middle level animal kingdom, when you come to the middle level, karmas start accumulating. Because there is thought. As long as whenever there is wherever and whenever there is a thought and an intention, karma is built up. And what is karma? Karma is an imprint of what you think and what you do. Of what you think and what you do. An imprint somewhere at a space, an unseen and unknown space in the body. For all of you who have been studying with me for all these courses that I teach, you've often heard me talk about the causal body, the Karan Sharir. In the causal body, there's an imprint of everything that you think, the intention and the action. It's imprinted in the form of a seed, in the form of a tablet, in the form of a capsule, call it whatever. So all these accumulated imprints, and there are millions of them from the middle level animal kingdom onwards. You enter into the human level, and then human lives also, ignorant human lives. There have been hundreds and thousands of ignorant human lives that you have lived until the time you've come now to this present state of evolution. Yeah. So all of these imprints together, a box of it together, is what we call that you're carrying a causal body with you. You're carrying a whole bundle of karmas with you. A word that is commonly used for all these accumulated karmas from the time of accumulation, we call it Sanchit karmas. They're called, the whole bundle is called Sanchit karmas. They're Sanchit karmas. That means whether they belong to your this life or not, whatever you're carrying in your causal body is a sum total of the Sanchit karmas. So let us understand a little bit about these type of karmas first before we go ahead to understanding what is destiny. The sum total of all the karmas, you have your Sanchit karmas, and then out of these, as the soul is transiting from one life to another life, some of these Sanchit karmas are chosen to be experienced in that lifetime. And that is exactly what we call the destiny or prarabdha. From a bundle of, I can share a small picture with you to show you, it's easily understood when I share the picture. So if you can see on the screen.
Okay.
Everybody make conscious effort to go mute. Otherwise, nobody can hear what's happening. So I want you to focus on this picture here, the first picture that I'm showing. So you have this box, this one, okay, this box. Let's give it a shape. This is the sum total of karmas that you're carrying. This is your Sanchit. Whatever you're carrying, whatever imprints you're carrying from your animal kingdom onwards to now, where you are, it's all, let's say, accumulated in this box. The colors of the dots that you see, various colors are there. There are some red ones, which are very karmas created in passion, in aggression, and in ambition, and in anger, and in high energy. There are karmas which are violet in color. There are karmas which are green in color. There are yellow ones, So all of these are the different kinds of karmas that you've done. Some good, some bad, some very divine, some very bad. The very bad ones are the black spots. The very bad ones are the black spots. And the yellow lines that you see are...
सुनो, ये बहुत अच्छा है माँ ज्ञान सुविधा का, आपने सुनना है?
iPhone, please mute yourself, please. Everybody needs to mute. Please go mute. Yeah. So you have these yellow lines over here. These are your accumulated good karmas, which means that whatever good deeds you have done, हम इसको पुण्य भी कहते हैं. In Hindi, we also call it punya, right? So the yellow lines are here, there are red dots, there are black dots, there are green dots, some work karmas, some emotional thoughts and some emotional clashes and some material transactions. All of these put together in this box, there your Sanchit carried forward, life after life, life after life, life after life. Now, when you keep your focus here on this small little diagram, let's say this is the present life of a person. If this is the present life of a person, then the soul chooses out of this big bag. The soul chooses which of these Sanchit karmas shall be brought into the present life. And this is called the prarabdha. This is called the destiny. All right. This is called your fate. This is called your destiny. This is called the prarabdha. The Sanchit karmas which are brought into fruition, to be brought into fruition in this life is your prarabdha, are your prarabdha karmas. So the sum total of these that you're carrying, this person, this shape which is there is carrying in this life, all the sanchits brought forward, that the soul has decided that, okay, this is going to be the blueprint of my life. These are the karmas that I'm picking up from my basket to experience them in fruition in this life. This we called as prarabdha. All right. And so obviously in this prarabdha, there is a mixture of everything. There's the black dots are there, there are green dots, there's some yellow streaks. He's carrying forward some punya also. He's got two, three big black dots also. So out of these, these imprints which are created, there's some big, there's some small seeds, there's some extra large, there's some extra small. All right. So whatever prarabdha is, whatever destiny is chosen at the time of birth, this entire concoction is there ready for fruition at particular timeline, in the particular timeline. Even the timeline is decided by the soul. Which of these karmas will be set into action or will fructify, will come into fruition at what time? This is also decided by the soul. So the entire prarabdha is this design of what you call the destiny of the person, our own destiny. Okay. Now, often we talk about free will. You always found me talking about free will, and we talk about prarabdha and purusharth. We talk about both these words, prarabdha and purusharth. I'm closing the screen for a while so that you can see me when I'm speaking, and then I'll go to the next diagram which will explain about purusharth. All right. So you often hear me talking about prarabdha and purusharth. And so prarabdha is that shape what I have shown you. Okay, you are born with this destiny, and you are going to, as an individual, you have no option but to go through this script. As an individual, we have no choice but to go through this script because it is sanctioned by the soul, chosen by the soul, and shall be enacted, empowered, and brought into fruition at the right time, in the right place, in our life. So most of the things that we are experiencing, most of the things which we are experiencing has already been decided by the soul. It's only when people come at a very heightened level of evolution, in an awakened state of evolution, where you understand these concepts, and when you are blessed with Brahma Gyan, when you are blessed with Brahma Gyan, not that all that Brahma Gyan which has been showered upon you, you're absorbing. Not everybody is absorbing everything, but whatever is penetrating, percolating into the brain, based on that and to that level, your free will is exercised. So free will is exercised only when you are reaching a certain level of evolution where space is created for you to act in the right manner. Space is created for you to act in the right manner, and your response to this prarabdha, or your response to this so-called unfolding story, because not everything what is unfolding is pleasant. For many people, there are a lot of black seeds which are in fruition, so they give unpleasant experiences. For a lot of people, there's a lot of yellow manifesting, so there's a lot of punya, and there's a lot of accumulation of good deeds. So there's a lot of experiencing of blessings, and for a lot of people, there is red, a lot of red seeds. So there's a lot of passion and aggression and ambition and the fire for life. There are a lot of these green and yellow seeds, which is abundance and resources and richness and all of it. You can imagine, when you look at these dots, you can imagine the kind of story that each one of you is experiencing in life, this is all coming from your Sanchit into the Prarabdha and unfolding bit by bit in the timeline, experiencing, giving you the experiences, giving you a story, So I was born like this, that this happened to me, then this happened to me, then I lost this, then I gained this, and so on. Your story, your whole story is your Prarabdha, okay? Now let's talk about the types of karmas that we are talking about. Sanchita, can't you people make a conscious effort to go mute? You need to make a conscious effort to go mute, otherwise it disturbs everybody and the talk. So we were talking about the types of karmas. You have your Sanchit, what I've spoken about, Prarabdha, what I've spoken about. There is a third category of karmas called Agami karmas. All right, there are Agami karmas. Now, what are Agami karmas? Agami karmas are, you are in a situation, the situation has unfolded out of your Prarabdha, right? It's unfolded out of your destiny because of your destiny. How you respond to it will create another karma. Karma creation is inevitable, understand that. Karma creation is inevitable, understand that. Also, to participate in karma is inevitable because Prakriti makes you do it. They say that, there's a beautiful shloka that says that, na karmana manarambhan neshkarmyam purushošnate, na cha sanyasanadev siddhim samadhigacchati, na hi kaschit kshanam api jatu, तिष्ठत्य कर्म कृत कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्व प्रकृतिर जय गुणे. That means it's inevitable. The whole cycle of karma is inevitable. You can't escape karma. You can't escape karma. You have to enter into karma. This is by law, by nature. All right. You cannot just run away. It will still, the karmas will follow you because it's not that they are out of your body. They are in your body. The prarabdha is in your body. It's manifesting from inside your body. So it will force you into participating in karmas, right? And there is not a single moment also, not a single moment when karma is not happening, or you can disassociate yourself from the karma. It cannot be possible. It's only at a high level of witnessing and drashta bhav, when you develop very high level of witnessing and drashta bhav, that you can stop creating the impact of what you're doing. There's a very heightened, enlightened living, very heightened, enlightened living. Nevertheless, in common people, in everyone, including all of us, in our unaware moments, we are creating karmas constantly. Whenever you are unaware, you're constantly creating karmas. There's no escape to it. So when there is no escape to it, then how does one, should one take that the entire prarabdha is going to manifest and I have no escape? No, it's not like that. They say that there are stages of this liberation from, action and liberation from the story. The stages begin, it starts with being aware. When you be aware that something is manifesting and it's fruitifying out of my prarabdha right now, you have the choice how to respond to this event. You have a choice, you have a freedom how to respond to this event. In a simple analogy, if I can give you, there's a archer, there is a warrior, let's say a man going into the forest. He's got bow and arrow with him. All the arrows that he has in his case on the back of his all the arrows are all, let's say, they are Sanchit karmas. He's carrying this, so this is all that he has to experience, right? The bow, there is an arrow already loaded on the bow. There's an arrow which is loaded on the bow, is his Agami karma. He has a choice where to aim it, correct? He has a choice. He can aim it into the sky, he can aim it into the ground, if he becomes aware that he has a loaded arrow, he has an active karma, he can change the direction of that arrow. And then there are some arrows that he has already shot. There are some arrows that he has already shot and they have probably hit the target, and this responsibility he has to take. This responsibility he has to take. That's a prarabdha. He has to take that responsibility. You understand? So, which means in your life, there are a certain bundle of seeds that you're carrying for this life destiny, which we are calling prarabdha, okay? There are some seeds which are at present manifesting. At present, they are manifesting. If you remain in awareness, that, okay, somebody is bullying me, the first and the foremost thing is when you understand that this bag of karmas is yours, and they are not being put by anybody outside. They are self-created. When you understand this, you take 100% responsibility for whatever is there in your bag. When you live with this awareness, number one, at that time when the karma is in fruition, you understand that this whatever crap or this whatever unpleasantness is happening, I have created it and this is coming into action now. And if you remain still in that moment, and be conscious of what you are responding with, be conscious of what you're how you're responding to the event, the direction in which the arrow will go will change, and the impact that that arrow will make will change. That means that you are able to make a change in the destiny with awareness. That means you are able to make a change in the destiny ahead in awareness. How does that happen? Let us see the pictures here. All right, let us talk about how in your awareness does the destiny or the prarabdha change. Okay, listen to this now carefully. So in the first picture here, you saw that there was this bundle of seeds. One of them is very black here, the other one is very black here. These may be two very big events, or these may be two very big events in the person's life. We also call karmas which are very, very solid as drid karmas. Some of the karmas that are there in the prarabdha may be drid karmas that cannot be eradicated or cannot be erased. They cannot be eradicated or they cannot be erased. There are a lot of drid karmas that we carry, that despite doing sadhana, despite taking nam smaran, despite doing a lot of things, they don't eradicate because they have to be lived. They're drid karmas that, and what needs to be understood is that everything, or this entire karma process, good or bad, is all happening for your good. If you understand that very deeply, it is all happening for your good. Whatever is happening for your good. When you understand this very, very deeply, there is deep level of acceptance, and the rigidity and the poking aspect of these karmas is very reduced. All right. For instance, you see the second picture over here. Let's say that I have created a lot of yellow here. If you see in the first picture, there's little yellow. I have created a lot of yellow here. This yellow is maybe out of all the efforts that you're putting in with your japa, with your regular reading of, pathas and scriptures or Upanishad, you're regularly meditating, or you're doing a ho'oponopono, or you're doing any kind of seva very consciously, or you're into your religious worshipping activities, nitya karma every day. All of this creates a lot of yellow within the prarabdha. All of this creates a lot of yellow energy, good energy, punya energy, and very, very positive vibrations within the prarabdha. And what does this yellow do? This yellow attracts more yellow from the outside. This yellow attracts more yellow from the outside, creating tremendous amount of vibrations here. And when this yellow attracts more yellow from outside, automatically, if you see the seeds, many of the seeds here have started fading. You see, many of the seeds have started fading. The black ones have not been affected. The black ones are not affected, but many of the tiny seeds have faded. Can you see? They have faded. They fade. They fade. That means that when you are doing any kind of sadhana regularly, or rather when you open your head to receiving Brahma Gyan, when you open your insight to receiving Brahma Gyan, and when you allow the energy and wisdom of the Brahma Gyan to penetrate deep into yourself. And how do you allow? You don't allow by just saying, okay, I'm allowing from today, let the Brahma Gyan seep into me, and you're getting into your everyday monotonous work and not having any attention towards what you said yesterday. I'm allowing Brahma Gyan to percolate. Brahma Gyan, please percolate into my head. It doesn't go like that. When you involve your karmendriya, jnanendriyas, all your indriyas in the practice of that which will invite Brahma Gyan. It's only when you involve your indriyas on regular basis into those spiritual activities that invite the Brahma Gyan, only then it starts percolating, because the entry of this is very limited. The entry is limited. Your entire aura is like a sealed pack. You're like a sealed, your prarabdha is all sealed within your body and energy, so Brahma Gyan cannot penetrate into you so easily. You have to make yourself receptive for the percolation of this energy. Once it enters into you, once you are committed to your practices, see, all my lectures, all my workshops, I keep harping upon practice, practice, practice. Because I sincerely feel that until I die, at least a few of you will understand how important practice is. Okay, that's why I keep harping upon it. What it will do to you is something you have to investigate. You have to investigate. This picture, this analogy is very beautiful. So we create a lot of yellow over here. When you created a lot of yellow, number one, it attracts punya together. It attracts more of the yellow and creates a kind of a yellow field in which, in this energy, because this is lighted energy. It's full of light. This energy that has accumulated now because of your practices and because of your commitment to the practices is become very bright and light, full of light now. In this energy, lot of Sanchit karmas are diffused. Many Sanchit karmas are eradicated completely. Completely eradicated. Swami Shivananda, of the Divine Life Society used to keep harping on it all the time. In the light of Brahma Gyan, Sanchit karmas are eradicated. Everything is eradicated. There will be some. For instance, in this picture here, you see the black ones are not eradicated. But do you see something strange here? The one black spot was over here in the first figure. The one black spot was over here. Second black spot was over here. They were independently going to manifest somewhere in some timeline. As according to the prarabdha that the person was born with, these two black spots were to manifest at some place in some timeline independently. When the lot of yellow has been created in the person, these two black have been brought together, close to each other, and they are completely in the protection of the yellow. They are completely in the protection of the yellow energy. This does not mean that this black is not going to fructify into an unpleasant event. It's a big black. It's a drid karma. This is a drid karma. It's a very solid karma that nobody can escape. Okay. So not even a yogi. So this will manifest. This will manifest. But because the person is committed into practices, this has been brought in the timeline in such a way that its manifestation is going to help the person to go ahead on his journey of light. All unpleasant events in the people who are committed to practices, all unpleasant events become stepping stones for further growth and power, and taking him closer and closer to enlightenment. Every black grid karma that manifests inevitably in an enlightened people's life becomes a huge, big step that takes him ahead on the path. So none of the events for such a person will give him a backward movement or will bring him down on the path. All of these manifestations which are inevitable will take the person upward and only upward, giving him more and more benefits than ever before. This is what is the impact of doing good karmas. And when I say this yellow, what is this yellow? It can be Namsmaran, it can be your regular spiritual practices, it can be your commitment to the yoga practices that you're doing, it could be seva, you could be a worldly person who loves to serve, it could be anything that is done in the knowledge, in the light of knowledge, in the light of humility, in the light of wisdom, in the light of seva, in the light of God consciousness, and in a very humble stance. Stiffened ego, practices done with stiffened ego are not fruitful. And whenever you find yourself, your ego is stiffened, then those practices are not fruitful. They're fruitful only when it's completely malleated, completely molten, completely thawed. So humility is something one has to consciously build up by. When you know the truth, you become humble. When you don't know the truth, then you're bitten by ignorance. If you see that the flower is manifesting naturally, you will stop saying, I have brought this flower in this world. I have nurtured this flower. Look at the glow because I have manured it so beautifully. Look how big it is because I have been feeding it with so many things for so many days. If you find reasons in yourself why the flower is beautiful, this is ego. If you understand that whatever I have done has made this flower naturally bloom, is humility. You have done whatever you had to do, and you have sacrificed those efforts to the flower and to God. But its blossoming is nature bound. It's not in your hand. There are many times we do the best of the things, but the result is not what we want. Is it not? It's there with this ordinary example what I've given you. You may give the best manure, but the flower doesn't bloom. The buds, it happened with me last week that we had a beautiful Indrakamal plant. It's full of buds. The whole the plant was full of buds, and I was so waiting for those Indrakamals to come, and I wanted to smell them. And one by one, the buds were falling off because there was a kind of an insect I could not see, and they nipped off the buds, and the buds were falling down. There was just one or two buds which were left, and I was wondering what is happening to this. Why is it falling down? Then I sprayed some neem oil on it, and those 1-2 buds are now there. Now, should I say that I have saved these two? Should I say that I have saved these 2 buds? No. Who made me aware to make me spray oil on them and save them? That power is what I need to acknowledge, and not my effort that I sprayed it on time and these 2 were saved. Why I couldn't save the other ones that have fallen? Why wasn't I aware? The neem oil was there in our store. Why didn't I spray it before? So humility comes only when you inquire, investigate in every small event of your life, and you understand that along the process of doing, there's a constant process of doing. You're constantly doing something. You're folding things, you're rectifying things in the house. Under the process of doing, there's a flawless, consistent, incessant process of happening. Absolute, flawless, incessant process of happening under your folds of doing. That's the impact of Maya. It makes you believe that you're doing. Okay. So when you become aware of the natural process and you understand that this is all happening bit by bit everywhere, and I'm participating, you get humbled. In that humbled stance, when you do any practice, all of this generates this beautiful bright yellow. It generates this beautiful bright yellow and shall start attracting more and more yellow. It starts attracting more and more yellow. Now, what happens when a person is, let's say, in ignorance, and we saw the first picture here where there are 2 drit karmas over here, and there is all a bundle of mixed baggage of this thing. Let's see the third picture over here. Okay, let me show you the third picture over here. 1 second. Yeah, can you see this one over here? Now this one, the second picture was with a lot of yellow, and the third picture here is of an ignorant man. Here, these 2 dots are manifesting, these 2 drit karmas are manifesting, and he is further creating because he is in ignorance. He's in ignorance. He's not at all completely aware of any practices or any way out of situations. Unpleasant events, when they manifest, we tend to create more unpleasant seeds. Further black seeds are created. And this entire bag of whatever is created now in the time of difficulty will be carried forward as a part of the Sanchita into the next life. Or further, you're adding black seeds to this entire box if you are unaware of situations. Even when you have red seeds or yellow seeds manifesting, even when you have the red seeds and yellow seeds, I'm stopping the share now. Yeah. Even when you have the red seeds, yellow seeds, green seeds manifesting, even at that time, your responses, when they are ego-based, ego-bound, they create more impacting seeds, stronger impacting seeds. Mute, please. Everybody go mute. They create stronger impacting seeds. So, to sum up these 3 figures together, you need to understand that your destiny is created out of all the Sanchit karmas that your soul has chosen for experiencing in this life, and we call it the prarabdha, we call it the destiny. The exact translation of word prarabdha is destiny, fate, what you call fate, okay? In this prarabdha, in this destined script, we have space of awareness. There can be created space of awareness by which repeated practice, committed repeated practice, spiritual practice can create energy space in the middle that can attract more good energy. Punya from your Sanchit bag, more punya can be brought into this life, can be brought forward into this life. Okay, number 1. Number 2, it will diffuse and eradicate many of the Sanchit karmas. It will diffuse and eradicate many of the Sanchit karmas which have not yet sprouted and manifested into events. Number three, the Drid karmas which are there, the Drid karmas which are there that do not get affected because of whatever practices you're doing. They are unchanged. They are karmas that you have created, strong karmas that you have created in the past that will manifest into something unpleasant. It will not change. But when you are committed to practices, these Drid karmas are brought and adjusted and aligned in such a way that they manifest at the right time in your timeline. They manifest at the right time in your timeline to make you jump over. It makes you jump over and go ahead on your path. That means even the event which is unpleasant becomes an asset to your growth and to your enlightenment. All the things that are unpleasant that may have been there in your prarabdha and have not gone away despite your dedicated, committed practices, you should accept them with a lot of glory, a lot of faith, a lot of trust in your heart that these are leading me and taking me upward. And you will be able to see the benefits of this acceptance. You will be able to see that if you remain unfettered or, unshaken in those circumstances, the circumstances, turn into something very beautiful. The losses will be there. Whatever you have to lose, you will lose, but it will take you into a different phase altogether. Now let's talk something about Agami karmas. Agami karmas are manifested, done, created in this life and also experienced in this life. That means Agami karmas are your constant, because you're involved in karmas constantly. Sometimes you create a karma that is kind of, pinning or kind of impacting the other person very strongly. And you need to experience this karma in this life only. Agami karmas are created in this life and experienced in this life. For instance, you say something very, very hurting or unpleasant to your parent, and you will hear the same thing, your son or your daughter saying this to you. For instance, you do something very cruel to somebody and you find somebody, later in your life, somebody saying the same thing to you, dialogue. I've experienced a lot of these Agami karmas and I can give you n number of examples for this. You get the same dialogue again. Agami karmas are not always negative. Some of them are positive also. And your abundance equations and your law of attraction and all of this that you hear in the recent times is all based on Agami karmas. It's all based on Agami karmas. That means you set up a whole circle of abundance. For instance, I had somebody over here for a retreat with me. I was telling her this. You set a sequence of abundance. For instance, you go in an auto. Let's say you go in an auto, and let's say your meter is showing a reading of 100 rupees. You consciously take out 300 rupees and give the auto man and say you keep it with you. With this joy and happiness and this very beautiful feeling of giving, and you let out, you go, you release an extra amount. It's 3 times more than what you had to pay to him. This is the Agami karma, and it sets a big circle and it boomerangs and comes back to you. You'll find that you will bill somebody 1,000 rupees and somebody will give you 3,000 rupees. It's such a beautiful thing to experience and observe. I'm telling you, many of my friends, we do these experiments, and it's really amazing to observe that you let go of something and that let go of something happens from and these are Agami karmas. They play immediately. The cycle starts immediately. Cycle of abundance, cycle of love. You start giving love very consciously to people, and you see how love starts pouring in your life. It comes in an amazing way. Similarly, it is with food. Similarly, it is with all the resources that you have. You trigger cycles, you start cycles, and do it like an experiment and see. I'm telling you, it's amazing to experience it. Absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah. So Agami karmas are the ones that you do in this life and you experience it in this life. They can be bad, they can be good. And that's why you believe in the entire cycle of karma. Agami karmas are God-given because they make you believe in this whole cycle of karmas. All right. Something there were some laws that somebody had written that I also wish to share with you again. A beautiful this thing. I'll put this maybe in the chat window, or somebody can just copy it. Okay. Let me share the screen again. Some 7 to I think or 12. There are these laws, very beautifully written. I just copied it and just 10 minutes before the lecture. So this one says the great law. The great law is the karma law. Your actions and thoughts have consequences. This is the basic thing to understand. The law of creation, you can only change your life by taking action. This means what I said just now to you with the shloka, that there is no escape to action. You have to enter into action. You see, your body all the time is there is action happening. Even your organs are involved in action. Even your breath is involved in action. Even your prana is involved in action. So action is inevitable. All right. This has to be understood, that you can't enter into a state of samadhi and sit without any action. Nobody can do that. Nahi kaschit chanam jato nishthatya karma krita karyate havasha karma sarva prakriti jai guna. According to your gunas and prakriti, karmas will keep on happening. Okay. The law of humility, what I said just now, you have to accept things in order to change them. That means you can't resist what is happening to you. Okay. Why me? Why the hell should I go through this? Why am I deprived? Why is he doing this? You know, so each one, even between a brother and sister, even between brother and brother, and even between your closest of the things, those you two have been brought up in the same way, yet both of you are carrying different prarabdha. Both of you are carrying different destinies, you know. So there is a lot of thinking and rethinking you have to do about, you know, understanding this law, to understand that, you know, anything that is happening in your life, everything and anything that is happening in your life is coming from within you, from your causal body and from your product, and nobody else can put anything inside you, neither a suffering nor a gain. Get it? So if it's coming from inside me, I have to accept it. There's no other way but to accept it. It's only and only when you accept it and stop resisting that you will be able to create a change. It's like somebody, let's say somebody doesn't have a hand. Let's say somebody doesn't have an arm. As long as he keeps fighting with the fact that I don't have an arm, why am I blessed with only one hand? Why not two hands? As long as he keeps resisting, he's not able to live his life fully. The day he accepts that he has only one hand, he will be able to do miracles with that one hand. You know, he'll be able to do miracles with that one hand, and he's able to use his entire body equipment to do what anybody and everybody can do. You get my point? Acceptance opens the door to many, many possibilities. Otherwise, you close the door to any kind of a change. Then the law of growth. You need to change yourself before you can change your environment. So it applies to all people, right from common people to enlightened people to healers to teachers. It applies to everyone. You know, your constant endeavor should be to change yourself. Environment is something you can rarely change. Physically, yes, I can make my environment cleaner, but I can't change the thoughts of people. I can't be working on it constantly to change the thoughts of people around me. I did rather use that time to change my thoughts. I did rather use that time to change my thoughts and refine my thoughts. Maybe when I am working constantly in changing my thoughts, the environment automatically may change. When your auric energy, when what you are attracting, when what you are exuding changes, a lot of things in the environment automatically get changed. That can happen. So your attention when you're creating change should not be as much outside as much it should be inside. All right, it should be more inside. So change has to begin within your own thought system first. The law of responsibility, what I said just now, you need to take responsibility of what is happening. Understanding this, responsibility is not ghutne tek dena. It's not that you're throwing your weapons and you're falling on your knees and you're just at the mercy of whatever. No, taking responsibility is understanding with your brain and with your head that all of this that I'm undergoing is created by myself. It is in my box of karmas. Nobody can put their karmas into my box. I cannot put my karma into anybody's box. When you understand this, then you take responsibility. The law of connection, past, present, and future are connected closely. You know, this kind of, when we say past, present, and future, we're not talking of this life alone, but we are talking about the eternity of the soul, and we are talking about the journey, and we are saying that At no point is there any disconnection. Your one life and two life and three life and 100 lives are all connected. There's a incessant flow of energy that is transiting and taking one individuality to the other and to the other to the other. It's a continuous flow and there is no breakage anywhere. Okay. The law of focus completely on the task at hand in order to accomplish it in the best possible way. Why is this law of focus here in the karma law? Because it is very much connected with the potency of the seed that you create. A positive seed is created in tremendous potential when the seed is created with focus. That means whatever work you're doing, let's say somebody gives me a small work to sweep the compound. I've been given a broom and somebody tells me, okay, can you sweep this compound? You know, without thinking why me or how me, what are the others doing? Why this broom? Why not the vacuum cleaner? Why at this hour he's asking me to clean the compound? If you eradicate all the questions in your mind and you put your 100% self into cleaning the compound, what you're supposed to do without thinking about anything, this kind of a karma creates a potentially beautiful seed. It creates a potentially beautiful seed, and normally these come into Agami. These come into Agami and they increase your spiritual value. They create a lot of yellow. Even karmas which are done with 100% focus and dedication, 100% focus and dedication create a lot of yellow that attracts more punya from behind. You know, it pulls up more punya from the Sanchita. The law of focus. Then the law of giving and hospitality. Your behavior should match your thoughts and actions. That means the law of giving and hospitality is you giving a glass of water to somebody and saying in your mind, ye kya aafat hai? You know, or you're giving charity to somebody and said, just get lost. You know, so the deeds are charitable, but the mind is not charity. If your deeds are charitable, but your mind is not, if your deeds are hospitable, but your mind is not, you know, it's like a nurse working in a hospital giving 20 abuses in her mind, or a doctor doing is what a bloody profession I've gotten into, or any, you know what I mean, that your deeds have to match your actions, and deeds have to match your thoughts. At the bottom level, karma seed is born to intention. At the bottom level, karma seed is born to intention, which needs to be understood further. The attitude, approach, and energy, and the focus. Further, it will create layers of the seed. But at the bottom, the nucleus of the seed is that of intention. Always remember this. So you have to be very conscious about creating a good intention. Even if you're not feeling good, you change that not feeling good to a good intention and just do it. Get my point? Okay. The law of here and now also, like just the way 100% is, you can't be present when you look back. That means you have to disassociate yourself from the past and the future when you're in your work, when you're in the karma. When you're doing whatever you're doing, you have to disassociate it from the past and the future and just do what you're doing. It's difficult because inevitably our mind keeps running all the time, and we are fragmenting in our mind by default. That's the Maya. Fragmenting all the time, but if you are aware, a lot of this fragmenting is reduced. Okay, the here and now. The law of change. The past repeats itself until you learn from it and take a new direction. That means that in your prarabdha, in your sanchit karmas, there are a lot of repetitive patterns, until the person recognizes this and lets go of it. There are a lot of let go practices that I often teach about, the Ho'oponopono, Paschatap and Prayashchit, the acknowledgement, a lot of expressive, you know, you do Zen tangling, you do mandala release, you do many such practices are there that lets you, you know, empty yourself of something that is accumulating inside and creates a pattern. You need to do a lot of release work to release patterns out of your body. Otherwise, it keeps repeating until you have learned that lesson. And what does learning lesson mean? Learning lesson means you take it in acceptance and work towards eradicating it. That's it. Okay. So the law of change, the past repeats itself until you learn from it and take a new direction. The law of patience and reward. Long-term rewards require patience and constant work. There are a lot of people who keep asking me, many of our students, Ma, I've been doing this, nothing is happening, and there's no change. Or so, you know, you don't have to all the time attach your spiritual practices should not be attached all the time to tangible results here and now. It takes a lot of time. You know, I showed you the picture where the lot of yellow is created. You know, it's over the years. I've shown you how the black moves and comes together, how the seeds get diffused and they get, you know, mellowed down and they get diffused. That's it. They get fried and they don't sprout. This takes long time. And you shouldn't be thinking about the long time also. You should just learn to do it. Do your practices. That's it. The law of significance and inspiration. The reward is the result of the energy and the love you have invested in something. Yeah. Number one, you know, and this satisfaction, I can tell you, I can share with them, stopping the share. I can tell you, you know, when you do japa, when I do japa, I do japa for a long time. And over the years, I have learned to enjoy the completion of my japa today. I have learned to enjoy the completion of my count and my japa today. And the smile of satisfaction that, oh, I've done what I promised to do today. Instead of, you know, counting all the time, you can't do that. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. You should enjoy the process and the procedure, the path, and not be hinged to the goal. Don't be hinged to the goal. Enjoy the path and understand the science that it will create an environment, and eventually all of this yellow is going to attract more yellow, and the drida which is there, let it go through. I'll go through. I'm okay. I'm open. I'll go through, and also understand that these dridas will manifest and create step ladder for you for your growth ahead. You know, once a lot of yellow is starting in your system, you know, all the drid karmas become stepping stones. All your drid karmas will manifest into whatever unpleasant, but they will be stepping stones. They will take you upward with great speed. Get my point? So this was something about the karmas. Now we can spend some time on questions. Yeah? Tell me, are these things clear to you? Are there any questions? Is something not clear? Please come up.
Ma, I have a question, Ma.
Yes, come on.
Yeah, Ma, so as we've been told before that, say in Satyug, if you would even think of something bad, your karmas would be affected. And so we've heard that in Kali Yuga, only if your thinking comes into action, your karma gets accumulated. So is it true that if you think bad, that doesn't become a bad karma, but only once you put it into action, it gets into bad karma?
The manifesting process of karmas remains the same in all the yugas. In all the yugas, the time of manifest, the fruition time, most of your ill thoughts and most of your ill karmas in Kali Yuga become Agami. And that's why a lot of people would see the ill effects of what they do ill in this life itself. You know, so the process of, you can say that because the process is expedited in Kali Yuga, manifestation, creation of the seeds and manifestation of them and exhaustion of them all happens very fast within one lifetime. So it's not true that thoughts are not creating karma. That's not true. That's a fundamental of karmas. Yeah.
Thank you, Ma.
Yeah.
Ma, I have a question.
Ji.
So, like you said, your destiny is prarabdha karna. If your work only becomes like seva and you get like totally absorbed, do you think it's karma, or are you like, is the karma working out as a natural process in your life, or is it something that is to be done? I mean, I'm a little confused here.
Yeah, so the roles that we choose in our life, the duties and the roles that we choose in our life have several reasons why we are doing what we are doing. A lot of it goes with financial independence and financial comfort. That becomes a primary reason for why we are working, all of us, yeah. and a good reason. It's not a bad reason. It's a good reason because we are in a system and we are in a family. There has to be ajivika. There has to be an income to support our family access. So foundation level intention for doing that karma is rajasic. It's rajasic. It's worldly. It's familial. That's a rajasic desire, which is fructifying. Okay. Second level would be that if you're loving your work, if you love the work that you're doing, here it goes into sattva. The moment you love the work that you're doing, it goes into sattva, because when you're loving the work that you're doing, you're not constantly thinking about your salary, nor are you constantly thinking about the benefits that this job is giving you. You're not thinking about any fulfillment of desire. You're just doing it for the joy of doing it, you know. So there is a financial equation attached to it, but that's not on the priority. That's not on the priority. That's on the second stance. On the priority comes, I love this work that I'm doing. Okay. Here it becomes a sato rajo combination. It's when people don't like what they are doing and they are doing it only for the sake of money, because it is ajivika or because it is their income, and because it is, this creates karma. That means the basic intention of, okay, I have to earn bread and butter for my family. Okay, this is rajasic, and this is it's desirable, because we are in a world, we have this is a desirable this thing. Now, to be able to earn bread and butter, if you are engaged in something that is not appealing to you and it creates a lot of tension, or it creates a lot of pressure, or it creates a lot of distaste, or it gives you ill health, it creates a lot of unpleasantness in you and your surrounding, then this is tamasic. And this needs to be understood. You need to change this equation to bring it to at least rajasic sattvic. At least rajasic sattvic, if not sattvic rajasic. You get my point? To have it in sattva and rajas is perfectly fine, and it's ideal for living in this world. It's only when, let's say, you are at the stage of retirement and you have now no more responsibilities, and now you are giving your application into an organization which has this work that you really love, and they aren't paying you any well. Sometimes they may not even pay you. Sometimes they may not even pay you, and you're still enthusiastically joining this organization. This would now take it into sattva completely. Get my point? Yeah. And that's the kind of seeds it will generate. I mean, when I'm saying sattva, that means it will create sattvic seeds. When I'm saying rajas, it will create rajasic seeds. When you say tamas, it will create seed. So the seeds of disease, you know, in your prarabdha, when you have disease, and all of us have aches and pains here and there, and you know, all kinds of little bitty issues are there, some major, some minor. All of these disease issues have come out of emotional regret and emotional trauma. Most of these have come from emotion and seeds, karmic seeds that have been created in previous lives as well as this lives, out of things that we don't like to do, but we have been doing. They create disease seeds. That's what manifests into disease. Get it? Yeah.
Ma, I have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah. Nanti, pucho.
Yeah. See, my life is whatever karma I have accumulated so far. So in this lifetime, but how does one self-defense will come into picture? Like if somebody is doing something bad to me, I need to act on it, right? Like if somebody is hitting me, I have to stop that person or something like that. So how does self-defense come into picture when the karma
So
laws?
self-defense in the action, when somebody is afflicting you pain, self-defense in the action is not bad. Let it not penetrate into your mental zone. So Swamiji, one of the Swamijis gave an example. If there is a monkey coming into my room, I would take a stick and hit the monkey. Okay? I would take a stick and hit the monkey, or at least scare him or shout loud. But in my heart, I'm not having any repulses or any ripples of either hatred or violence. In my heart, I'm loving the monkey, but my action is driving him away. So it is with the ignorant world. When you are in an environment where there is a lot of attraction, repulsion, justice, and balance. Yeah, with the force of your Chaturdala Padma, when that is there, then it is inevitable that you have to sometimes shout, sometimes scream, sometimes do something. Do it in your heart. Let there be an unwavering presence of love. Get it? Even for people who act smart with you, or act very funny with you, or act very bad with you, you can see the intention of the person, and kind of bracket him as an act of ignorance. You don't want to become ignorant like him. So you need to create distance in worldly situations. You need to create distance, and that's why they say that when you go on this journey of awareness, then you kind of need to isolate yourself, and kind of need to isolate yourself and not get into more and more complications. That's why people choose a company with a lot of wisdom later, and also they become loners. A lot of people become loners because entering into futile association with the worldly people is like creating more and more thought processes and more and more thought karma. So automatically the soul will make the person go on a path. So you would choose only satsang, or you would choose only people who are like-minded to be in your company. And in a place of work, you would then be very choosy about what to talk, what not to talk, what to do, what not to do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ma.
Yeah.
माँ प्रणाम दंडवत सोनल बोल रही हूँ.
Amrita, namaste, beta, pranam. Do you have any question? Does anybody have a question?
All is well, Ma.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Ma'am, I have a
Another
query.
question, Ma, if you'll permit me.
Yes, Radha.
Yeah. So when you start a new path, a new spiritual, like a japa or a mantra, whatever, and you suddenly see that your life was going okay, but then suddenly there are upheavals. What does that mean? Does that mean the dhrar karma that you were talking about, is it playing out and it's exhausting itself? Or I mean, you said don't connect the spiritual to the reward, but how would you connect to the spiritual to the upheaval?
Yeah, the upheavals that are coming should not be connected to your practice. This was the message that I texted you before also. And that's the law, that's the rule, because if you associate, then every small little thing you start associating with your japa does not have that kind of an effect to give you tangible result, good or bad, immediately. It does not have. It just creates an energy field in your body. All right. So this could be a coincidence that any of your drid karmas are manifesting at that time when you started your sadhana. It can be a coincidence, and it can be remotely a possibility also that because you started, this is getting exhausted and going away. In any which way, your practice should be done with tremendous amount of faith. Tremendous amount of faith and trust that it creates something very exceptionally good in me. And that's why I'm doing this. Let my life happen the way it is happening. You're not consciously done anything wrong or doing anything wrong, but whatever is the baggage that you're carrying will manifest, if not now, later. So let it happen in an organic way, the way it is happening by nature, by law, right? And the best thing is not to associate these two things. That's the best thing. You shouldn't associate these two things. Yeah. Yeah. Jivika, पूछिए बेटा.
Pranam, Ma.
Pranam.
Humblest pranam to you, Ma. Ma, this is the first time I have been connected to you. This may take a long time. Please, please, please accept my full gratitude. मुझे बोला गया था 11th को good news मिलेगा, and I am so grateful. I am being able to connect with you, Ma. Very, very grateful to you, Ma. Very grateful. Ma, I have two queries. One is if we practice forgiveness in the current lifetime, okay, for any regression or guilt or whatever, if like the awareness we have already, and if we keep practicing forgiveness, will these certain people, will the ties be cut forever, and will they not come? Will they not be carry forwarded in the another lifetime?
With forgiveness, normally the seeds are diffused, and when the diffusion happens, it happens forever.
Okay.
It doesn't, because the seed only goes away. Let's say there is a granule of sugar.
Ji.
You have a bowl of sugar. You pick up one granule of sugar, and you powder it. Okay, you powder it. Will it become a granule again? It won't become,
No.
right? So
Yes.
what gets diffused forever. It goes into
Ji.
consciousness. It goes into energy.
Ji, ma. Ma, second thing, as you said, once we start getting into regular practices, it comes naturally that we become a loner and we don't like to come into contact with certain people, what about, I'm sorry, I'm asking this, what about if those people are in the family? I mean, extremely close ones who are staying with us, who are totally the ignorant types. How do we,
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
over the period of time, they will understand. Over the period of time, you will understand. You will both come in the middle way. Both of you
Ji,
will come in the middle way. It happens, and you, in fact, you get disinterested in a lot of gossip and a lot of, talk that happens in a lot of artificial behavior many times. Ignorant behavior. I won't say artificial. Many people genuinely are, expressing, but there's a lot of ignorance in their expression, and there isn't something, because you are touching some line of integrity inside, and you find it all very frivolous, and you find it all very shallow, and
ji,
so you start distancing. So there are certain things that you need to participate in because you're in a family, and that your
ji,
dharma is demanding, and there are
ji,
certain things you can keep away from and let people learn to
ji,
understand that she likes to be quiet, you know.
ji, ma'am, ji,
Let people learn. That's not, you shouldn't bother about what they're thinking about it, because you're not behaving badly.
ji, ma'am,
If you're keeping quiet or you're distancing, you're not behaving badly, right?
ji.
Or you're not escaping from some things that you ought to be doing. Oh,
Right, right.
correct. So
Okay, okay.
if there is a dance happening and you don't want to dance, then I don't think people should mind that you don't want to dance. Correct?
True. Ji, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Grateful to you, ma'am.
Ma,
Hanji.
namaste, ma. Once more.
Yes, Monica. Namaste.
I have a question, ma. Uh, Actually, I wanted to ask that if somebody is in deep pain or sorrow for some reasons, somebody has, demise because of the, somebody has gone away, parted. So does this intense sorrow create some type of karma? And one more question connected is that the person was suffering, right? And the person has gone away. And we are also suffering at the other end because the person was connected to us. So is it only our karma, or is it the other person's karma, or multiple karmas play role in this?
Yeah, that's a very nice question, Monica. So whenever an event happens, a sorrowful event, or even a good event. Let's talk first about the sorrowful event. Whenever a sorrowful event happens, like somebody is parted, has gone away, or you have lost something very precious, or you have gone through huge losses, or you have lost a child, or lost a husband, or lost a wife, this event creates sorrow. Okay. Now, this sorrow is experienced in a cumulative way. This sorrow is experienced in a cumulative way because there are a lot of sorrowful seeds that are waiting to be experienced. And often they join hands and come out. That means you would cry or suffer this much for a particular loss. But at that moment, you cry and suffer this much because some cumulative sorrowful karmas join and give you an impact at this moment. They get exhausted. They get exhausted. It's so with happiness as well. And so with happiness as well, let's say you win over something, there's a victory, or you gain something, or you've been promoted or something. The happiness that event would give you maybe this much, but you may experience this much happiness because a lot of minor karmas, with a lot of minor seeds that are waiting to be experienced, and these minor seeds often join major seeds. They often join major seeds of sorrow or pain or happiness or joy. All right. So in an event like this, when you go through loss in business, or you personally lose somebody, a relationship, the sorrow that you experience, prolonged sorrow that you experience for a long time, is often due to many other karmic seeds which are manifesting and giving you that experience. Number one. Number two, if a person is in awareness and is constantly reading, is constantly reading or doing swadhyay, and making himself sit in the light of knowledge, jnana yoga, and understanding about life and death, and understanding about the progression of the soul, and understanding about the continuity of life, and how people are moving on all the time. There's transition happening all the time, right? Then this, in the light of this jnana yoga, the suffering seeds are diminished or eradicated completely. The suffering seeds are eradicated or removed completely. That is why whenever there is such a loss, it is recommended for you to read scriptures or to do a particular part every day. Take a sankalpa and do a part. Make this suggestion to somebody who is suffering. Okay, take a sankalpa for 40 days. I will read the Hanuman Chalisa, or I will read the Durga part, or I will read the Atharva Shivya, whatever, for 40 days. Once in a day, I will read to remove these suffering seeds and the pain that I am carrying. All right. If somebody in olden days, if somebody couldn't do the reading himself or herself, there would be a pandit called in the house to sit and do the part every day for 40 days to remove the person's suffering. Obviously, when he is audibly reciting, the person listens, So Shravan Manan needs to be done. Shravan and Manan needs to be done on the truth and the principles of life and death for the sorrow to be eradicated. Okay. But your question's answer is very direct. The sorrow experience is not just the sorrow of that death itself, but many other preliminary sorrow seeds are coming forward and giving the person an experience of a bigger sorrow than what it actually should be. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, my question is, when a person is on the spiritual path, is it so that his karmic structure it speeds up? Is it so, ma? And my second question is,
yes,
and my second question is, when we are on a spiritual path, our guru or the gods or the goddesses, do they help? I mean, in altering the karma, is it so that it gets altered, or I mean, the suffering gets less or something like that?
Yes, 100%. I was showing that small little drawing to you for that reason only. Number one, yes, the speed of the karmas is accelerated. That is your first answer. The speed of manifesting karmas is accelerated because there is a lot of energy which starts spooling everything. There's a spooling process. Okay. Number two, the goddesses or the energy generated out of your japa or whatever part you're doing is divine energy. It is of a higher frequency and it comes from the upper realms. So it does alter the karma pattern. It does change the design. The yellow that I showed you there will diffuse, not only diffuse a lot of Sanchit karmas, but also alter the potency and the quality of the seeds can dramatically change. This is what we call grace. We call this grace. The energy that's generated is graceful energy. And yes, the Ishta or the Devata or the goddess that you're invoking definitely alters the karma seeds. Yeah. Manvi, bolo beta.
Ma, I have a curiosity regarding these charitable institutions, like Donate Cart and Cry. So when someone does charity in that particular organization, do we unintentionally get intervene in their karmic path, or does it form an Agami karma in another lifetime with another soul and not with that particular soul?
A very beautiful question. Somebody asked this to me here also when they had come for a retreat. So if somebody is going to visit the Tirupati temple and I give him 100 rupees to put in tell him to put it in the hundi, okay, and the person does not put that 100 rupees in the hundi, will this karma, will my donation fructify? And what kind of a karmic cycle is this? All right. So when I give 100 rupees to the person, my charity is over. All right, I have created a seed of charity. Whether that person puts it in the hundi or not is his karma, and he will create a karma, and for him it will be an agami karma, and he will have to bear the cycle. I am out of it. Similarly, when you pay something to a big institution or an organization, and you're not sure whether what you're donating is being put into right use, and if on the other hand, if they are misusing the funds in any other way, will you become a part of their karmic cycle? No. The answer is no. Your intention is to help someone and you have given away what you wanted to give away, and you should even close the thought process there without further investigating whether that money has been used properly or not used properly, etc. All right. So that they should become very clear with you that you don't have to think into multiple levels of how those funds are being used and whether I am being dragged into their karmic cycle. No, you are not.
But we are not creating a web with that person now, Ma, for the next life for a debit credit to be nullified.
No, you're not creating anything. Your story is over when you wanted to donate something and you've donated. Your story ends here. What web he creates is his thought. He should be aware of what he's doing with what he's taking. Correct?
Yeah, Ma. That's so true. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ma.
Pranam, Ma.
Pranam. Ji.
Yeah, I have a small question. It is as and when listening to your lectures or sermons or understanding life at a certain time and age today, we are aware of a number of things regarding karma and thoughts and how futuristically we can cleanse a certain aura. What about past? It may be a simple question, but we can't turn the clock back. We can't go back and intentionally or unintentionally, if we have hurt someone, how do we negate that so that it doesn't form into a knot for us to untie in our next birth or for it to carry forward? How do we go back and...
Yeah, the knot is already formed. For instance, the arrow which has left my bow and has hit somebody's chest is already done. All right. So in the Western world, we have therapies like letting go, forgiveness exercises, Ho'oponopono, etc. In our world, in our culture, we have prashchit and paschatap and prashchit. You know, there's paschatap and prashchit that you have repentance in your heart, and you go into your inner acceptance of having done something and do a prashchit for it. Prashchit is often a spiritual practice that is taken as a sankalp and done. You know, for instance, for 1 year, because I've heard somebody, for 1 year, I will do this to, you know, kind of compensate for what ill I have done. All right. So, paschatap is acceptance and prashchit is a deed that you dedicate to do as a seva to unknot the knot. You know, you created the knot. Yeah, it dissolves that karma. It dissolves that karma.
And I needn't reach out to that person to untie. This is all within me. It's my awareness.
You do it within your this thing. You do it within your this thing.
Within my own.
आप गुहिया में करिए, आप अपनी privacy में करिए उसको. There is no need to confront or to accept in verbal way. Okay. So there are two very important announcements I wanted to make. I'll answer some more questions.
Two very regards and gratitude. Ma, I wanted to ask something. I'm suffering something in my official area. Like, I want to ask that if the boss is absolutely behaving in an extreme manner, being very like in a very bad behavior, he's being with you and he has harmed you officially also on your records without any fault, just because you cannot be a party to him with regard to corruption. You took your stand and still he has harmed you on records. That I need to get it rectified from the High Court. One thing more, Ma. So I wanted to ask, is it my prarabdha karma? Is it my sanchit karma? And what further, like, what would be the repercussion of this? And number two, Ma, that what is the like karmas we are going through in our life? What astrological impact it has? What is the connection between the two, the karma and the astrological effects of all these stars?
So if somebody inflicts or defames you for something that is not right, obviously it is coming from your prarabdha only, and a seed that you carry from in your sanchita from before lives where you would have done the same thing to someone. And this is for sure. You know, the human body, I'm repeating a sentence that I've umpteenth number of times said in my workshops, and I'm repeating that sentence here because it applies here. A human body is a self-monitored, independent, flawless machine where there is no error. And God himself is sitting, the monitoring authority is himself sitting inside your heart, manifesting these events bit by bit. So it's a flawless machine. Nobody can put into you an event. You know, it's flawlessly manifesting from your within. So A, take responsibility for it. B, very consciously create forgiveness to this person who is doing wrong to you. So you can write, you don't have to go and tell him, I forgive you. No, I love you, I forgive you. You don't need to say this to him. You be as scornful as you can on your face, doesn't matter. Okay, but write down take a book and write down 1 page of forgiveness every day. I forgive whatever his name is, Ajay Malhotra. I forgive Ajay Malhotra and Ajay Malhotra forgives me. Write 1 page of it every day for 40 days as a therapy. Take up 1 japamala. Take 1 japamala to eradicate this sin or this event from your causal body completely. All right. This japamala, whatever mantra you can take something as simple as Om Namah Shivaya, or you can take a Gayatri, or you can take Mahamrityunjay, anything, take something very simple, or Ganganapate Namaha, all right? And do 1 mala of it every day with the intention that this seed should go from my body. And do it till this whole thing is gone away. Everything has a life, Rima. Everything has a life. It can,
Yes,
nothing can be, suffering cannot go into eternity. It has a life. Yeah. Similarly, happiness has a life also.
because I'm a judicial officer, I'm a judge. The thing is that I'm a very hardworking person with a very, very good disposal who deserves an outstanding entry in the annual confidential report. But something happens that I'm not able to get my outstanding ACRs, and this is the first time that I have been rated as an average officer, which is not a very good annual confidential report. And number 2, it is like a shock for everybody around, like for lawyers, like for my colleagues, like for my family.
Yeah.
So it is absolutely opposite to what I am.
I understand. It hurts the individuality. When the individuality gets battered, there are stones up in the Himalayas. When you go to the Gangotri, you see there are stones, they're very pointed, edged, and when they come down here to Rishikesh, they're all rounded and golu, pyare pyare lagte hain. We call this ego erosion. It's ego, they're ego eroded, they're tossed and thrown down and again and again and again until they become round and beautiful. So, you keep your focus on you as an individual who is progressing on a journey. Intelligent people, successful people deserve happiness and peace, because you worked hard, you're in integrity, you deserve the best. But if something like this is happening, then this is the ego erosion process happening, because somewhere in your mind, everybody gets convinced. I mean, whoever is a topper in academics or in in any field, somewhere in their head it is very, because I've worked hard, I have come this way. Because I've worked hard, I have come this long. Because I have done all of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here where I am. How much ever you don't want it, it comes in your system because that's the process. So similarly, it happens with people who fail also. They keep blaming, I made this mistake and I did this and I shouldn't have done this. It had to happen. It had to happen. So it happened. We fail to understand that something had to happen, so it happened, and you're not always ahankar vimoodatma kartah miti manyate. Prakrute kriya manani gune hi karmani sarvashah ahankar vimoodatma kartah miti manyate. So hamara ahankar jo hota hai, ahankar is not always the bad ahankar. Even our well-tamed, well-groomed, professionally garlanded personality is also an ahankar. You get it? So I'm extraordinarily a loving person. If somebody hates me, I can't believe it that somebody hates me. You get my point?
Yes,
how can somebody not love me? Is something that cannot, get absorbed in the brain. You get my point? Similarly, when you're hardworking, when you're deserving, when you've done it all right, how can somebody give you such a ranking?
And Ma, one thing more that I don't know, for the last like 2, 3, 4 years, I've been targeted into the politics because I'm a very straightforward person and I'm just concerned with my work. But somehow I'm pulled into politics and always stabbed. I don't know what is happening.
Rima, you need to start japa. You need to start japa. Take japa, and believe me, a beautiful scalpel or a beautiful knife in the hands of a craftsman does wonders. Similarly, when unevolved people and people...
Sorry, Ma, I couldn't hear you. Can you please repeat?
I said a beautiful scalpel or a beautiful knife in the hands of a craftsman can do wonders. Similarly, when people who are not yet evolved or in preparation pick up japa, they don't see results so fast. But when somebody who is evolved and intelligent, the brain is the barometer for evolution, you know. So your intelligence and your dedication and your integrity in itself is a proof to your evolution. So when you take up to japa, it will do wonders. You must start your japa and, you know, kind of distance yourself from this hurting that you're experiencing. Get it? Yeah.
Yes.
Ma,
Thank you so much,
Thank
Ma.
you. Yes, Suman.
ma, yeah, gratitude, ma. Love you so much.
Love you.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing very nice, Suman. Tell me.
But I have one small question, ma'am.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not able to forgive two persons in my life. It's nearly 6 years over. I am every day praying कि भाई जो deep rooted seeds है, I should take it out. I should forgive those two persons, but I'm not able to forgive them. I don't know why. They have given me so much trouble that I don't know what to say, ma'am.
Yeah. So the individuality, just like how I was explaining to Rima, you know.
Yeah, I heard, ma'am.
Yeah. So you need to get into a system of letting go. If you keep telling yourself that you know, जैसे अगर मुझे यहाँ जला है, अगर मैं बोलती जाऊंगी कि ये मुझे जल रहा है, ये मुझे जल रहा है, तो ये जलन कम नहीं होगी. मुझे इसके ऊपर बलम तो लगाना ही पड़ेगा, right? You know, so in the same way, you need to take a painkiller when you have a headache or a pain somewhere. Similarly, when you experience some kind of a pain and some kind of a suffering deep into your heart and you're not able to get over it, you need a malham, you need something that will soothe. So you need to take a therapy. A spiritual therapy is the best therapy. Start doing japa, take Hare Krishna mantra. For any love related and heart related issues, the Vaishnava mantras are beautiful, you know, because they pertain to the middle level. They're very beautiful. Take a Krishna mantra and start doing with the sankalpa, with the intention that I want to get over this. It's not worth it. It's eating all your energy in the present. It's eating all your energy in the present, and you can't work or do any purushart for your future, right? So take a sankalp and start doing the mantra every day and set a time for the next 6 months. I'm going to do it. When 6 years you have suffered, 6 months you can take sankalp.
6 years.
Yeah. So the next 6 months, do the mantra. Number one. Number two, understand that your individuality, your ego, you as a person, Suman, has got hurt, and your soul is not hurt. You know, you walk with your soul. You have got hurt. Tell yourself that. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I was hurt. I was hurt. Always, I used to say that, ma'am.
Jaya, please. Jaya.
Namaste. I'm sorry, I joined a little late, so I don't know if I missed this issue. I always have confusion in my mind about, you know, you've discussed it in various ways, but to ask a very direct question, as one goes down this path, one feels more the need to prepare yourself for the road than the road for yourself. And preparing the road for yourself for me involves things like astrologers, stones, tarot card readings, you know, all of these, one goes to them, in my view, just to constantly have a look ahead to see how it's going. And I find that this need, I mean, over time, less and less, because I feel if you have, it's not like they have God's mobile number and you have only the landline, which is not working. And I wanted to ask, what is your opinion on how all of this healing fortune, I mean, I know you teach healing, I know it's energy healing is important, it has benefited me greatly, but how does one reconcile this with, to me it seems almost contradictory to development in your spirituality, that you constantly go on leaning on these things and saying mujhe ye patthar pehna do to ye theek ho jayega, ye kar lo to, I mean, I don't know how to fully, I don't know if I'm expressing my confusion.
What is the role, you mean to say, what is the role, does this help? So, you know, all kinds of divinations, be it astrology or tarot or kauris or runes or any of these divinations are meant to be guiding and counseling tools. Nobody can tell you 100% about what's going to happen. One need not know what's going to happen in the future, for that matter.
दरवाजा बंद कर देना, चुपचाप निकल जाना.
None of us need to know what is going to happen. Catch yourself with that anxiety. When you get gripped with that anxiety, become aware and catch yourself that why do I need to know what's going to happen in my future? I need to be present here and now and into today. Yes, sometimes when you're all alone in this world, and then you get gripped by this thought of what's going to happen to my money, or what's going to happen to my security, or to my this, or to my children, or to my, when you get these bouts of anxiety, instead of running to an astrologer or to a reader, you should sort it out with Jnana Yoga. Read out a few paragraphs of Jnana Yoga, spirit, to understand about the product, to understand each one of us is living his destiny, his own destiny. Your children will live their own destiny come what may, and you will live your destiny come what may. First, you need to sort it out with Jnana Yoga, with little Bhakti Yoga, do a little Upasana, surrender to God. And even then, if the anxiety is still there, then you could go to a friend astrologer or a friend reader who would be more compassionate to you than a professional one. There are professional, compassionate, powerful, very mature, spiritually mature people that can guide you. But every now and then running here and there is not the solution. Number one. Number two, the process itself of giving you guidance is meant to put on a balm on your anxiety. It's not meant to give you some stark naked truths about your future, and often they may not be true. What somebody may feed into your mind about your future may not be true. So why should you go like an open human body to every doctor and every surgeon? Can you look into my body and tell me what's wrong with me? You cut your body open and you're taking your open body to everyone for them to scan and for them to evaluate and for them to put any medicine into the body. Shouldn't do that. It shouldn't be done. For academic purpose or for an evaluation and a very distant kind of understanding about your life, you could speak to an astrologer to understand do your SWOT analysis for yourself, to do what are your strengths and weaknesses, etc. You could take that kind of an opinion from an astrologer. Or if there is something right now which is absolutely not allowing you to be in the present, then you could speak to somebody trustworthy, to let that out, or to, take and to be sure that that person is going to be into a optimistic advice and not to a stranger who could actually slap you with something negative that can permanently go into your head and become a seed, a thorny bush for your future. You get my point?
I get your point completely. I mean, this is pretty much the approach that I follow because, like I said, I believe very firmly. I mean, I was very, very long ago encountered such a person who said, I have to do this puja for you, that puja for you. And then I left thinking, I should have just asked for the mobile number because clearly you have a hotline that I don't.
Any kind of a japa and any kind of a homa, Jaya, any kind of a homa, any kind of a japa, the best person to do it for you in this world is you yourself.
I believe, but my question is that when one takes these sort of interventions, how do they affect your destiny and your karma? How is it perceived as taking shortcuts? Like, for example, somebody told me I have a sarpadosh in my chart as an instance, and I have to go to this temple and get this done and that done. And I was like, no, I would, if I have it, I have it, and I will deal with it how I deal with it. And I don't even know what it means, to be honest. I never bothered to find out. And this is why I ask, when you take these interventions, how does it affect your growth?
I'll tell you. If suppose somebody has a Kalsarpadosh and somebody is not getting married, for instance, all right. I had a friend who came a few years back and his daughter was not getting married, and many astrologers have told him that she has a very strong Kalsarpadosh. He had come here to me with the whole family had come. I said, listen, you get a puja done. You get a puja done for the Rahu Ketu, for the dosha, wherever he's advising, or anyone. I mean, a puja is a puja can be done anywhere. There are some special places for the Kalsarpa yoga, but it can be done by any Pandit anywhere. I said you get the puja done so that you are relieved of this in your mind. You know, you're relieved of this pressure in your mind that she has a dosha. And if you in the astrological chart, if there is a weakness that is indicated, and if you're doing a japa for it or you're getting a puja done, there's nothing wrong in it. But to get attached, you know, to one after the other, one after the other, one after, these are not shortcuts. Nothing can be a shortcut in your life. There can't be a shortcut in your life. These pujas also affect you to the point destiny allows. The pujas affect you to the proportion that the destiny allows. If the destiny is not allowing, if Maya is not allowing, if your consciousness, soul itself chooses to take you through the suffering, none of the pujas work. I haven't seen 100% pujas working. There's some work, some don't work. And if they work, it's a coincidence because it was destined, so it works. Nevertheless, doing a puja is not harmful. It generates good energy. So if you're doing it with faith and for the sake of doing it, you know, for the deity that it is, you know, pinpointed at, it's wonderful, but it should never be done as a shortcut. Never.
Thank you so much. And may I ask a broader question on the karma and destiny connection, which is something that always confuses me. I call myself a
We
Hindu.
had a very nice, I think you joined late. The first
Yes.
half an hour was on. So you can see the recording. I'll be posting this on the
I will. I just miscalculated the time difference because I'm not in India.
So that
But
was
Ma, can I ask? Ma, sorry. Ma, I have a question about forgiveness because that seems to be my main issue. So, can I do a Majap Mala the Mahaganpati mantra with that to accept the fact, because sometimes the hurts and the anger is so much that, you know, it's a daily thing. So just to accept the fact that one needs to forgive, so just dedicate.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful question and a very beautiful suggestion that has already come to you. Use your mantra, what mantra you're doing every day, use your mantra to open pathways,
Yeah,
possibilities, to take short sankalp, a 20-day sankalp, 11-day sankalp, short sankalps, to do a couple of malas every day, to let go of this thought or to open up this possibility. Do that. That's the perfect way. That's the perfect way.
Thank you.
So that was absolutely wonderful. I think we are off the time now. And it's absolutely wonderful. Remind you again of the 3 workshops. Take the details from Amrita and Priyanka. And I will see you all very soon. The Mahaganpati group meeting we'll have in the next 1 or 2 days. I'll try to do it by Monday for sure. All right. So that we are meeting for this month. And thank you so much for being here with me. I love you all loads. Be connected, stay connected. Those who are not in our learning groups, please message your numbers to Amrita and tell her to put you in the broadcast list so that every free event that is conducted, the message reaches you. Right? Thank you so much. Jai Shri Krishna.